Okay, to dissect all this further, let's bring in Marwan Bishara. He's Al Jazeera's senior political analyst. He joins us now live from Paris. Marwan, good to see you. So, Jared Kushner has now met both Hamas and Prime Minister Netanyahu, but it doesn't appear that there's been any major breakthrough when it comes to these the Gaza ceasefire. Do you think he can actually get Netanyahu to go along with Trump's Gaza plan?
Well, let's say he will give the appearance he's getting along, but he won't really go along with the plan. What do I mean by that? I mean, he's not going to be able actually to say a flat no to Trump now that his nephew is in Jerusalem. So what he's going to do, and what he's done, in fact, is he announced the making of these two committees in order to show that there is some form of progress without really committing to any real movement on the 15-point plan. You know, in the Arab world, they say, and that's sort of the first thing that came to mind when I heard about the committees, is that when you want to bury an issue, make a committee for it, right? This is how it's seen in the Middle East. Is as soon as you start talking about committees, that means you really are not interested in getting anything done. And I think there is a sense here that in a time of elections, when Netanyahu was looking down the barrel at a possible major loss coming end of October, it's the same thing with Trump. What they will try to do at this point in time is keep up the appearance that there is some sort of negotiations going on without really needing to make any serious progress.
Okay, so you seem pretty skeptical about President Trump's intentions here. I mean, Jared Kushner actually meeting with Hamas first face-to-face, and Trump now openly telling Israel to stop the strikes in Gaza. Do you not see that as consequential at all?
Well, in fact, Netanyahu had made clear that he still maintains the freedom of action in the Gaza Strip. He never gave up on that, and he still thinks that he has an understanding with the Trump administration that he has freedom of action. And the whole idea that nothing will happen until Hamas disarms is not exactly to the letter and spirit of the 15-point plan that really envisioned that this will be a reciprocity of a process whereby as Hamas disarms, as Gaza is demilitarized, Israel begins to withdraw. But Israel, as I said, has kept the right for freedom of action. And I think that really has always meant that it will bomb when it deems necessary, or as it would say, in self-defense. Of course, it continues to occupy some half of the Gaza Strip. Its soldiers continue to deploy there, and they will not be redeployed out of there anytime in the foreseeable future. So it's really, Malin, not so much a question of skepticism. It's a question of knowing where is this process coming from, how it was formulated, and who is Jared Kushner. And we've known what Jared Kushner proposed in the past. We know how hard Zionist he is. We know that the Trump administration is not about to put major pressure on the Netanyahu government in election season. And we know also from the past how America manages this kind of a process. You know, I've written an entire book about America's management of peace processes. And I can tell you that's what Pax Americana looks like. There will be stages, and there will be phases, and there will be stages within the phases, and this will take long until Israel agrees to each and every step of each and every phases in each and every stage. And hence, and up and until Netanyahu is convinced that he's not going to be able to ethnically cleanse Gaza, or that there is a president in the White House that will put some serious pressure, serious leverage on the Israeli government to make a serious move in Gaza, I'm not sure we're going to see any real movement.
Okay, I mean, there are some analysts who believe that if Netanyahu continues to resist Trump's plan, Trump may stop backing him and perhaps back another candidate. Do you think that's completely unlikely then?
Well, that's what I said, that he might give the appearances of getting along without going along. So in a sense that he just told Kushner, okay, we're good. We're going to, make up those two committees. We agree on starting the process, but we also agree on the fundamentals that we have a freedom of action and so on and so forth. But, and I saw that report in the Israeli press about Netanyahu basically telling Kushner, look, we're not going to be able to make any serious progress before the elections. So I think after this trip, with Kushner having put in his pocket these two committees and the understanding that maybe there will be some sort of a movement, meaning people will meet to discuss sanitation in Gaza, as if that should be a condition for anything. And by the way, in your citation, in our citation of that bit about the Committee for Sanitation in Gaza, in fact, it ends with saying, because that is good for the Israeli people, in the sense that they are worried about the question of sewerage and sanitation and so on and so forth in Gaza, leading to some form of a disease, a cholera or what have you, that could actually end affecting the people in Israel. So even that basic human right of sanitation in Gaza, Netanyahu is linking it that it's good for the Israeli people. Because once again, there is no policy but politics at this point in time for Netanyahu and his government, because they are up against some serious opposition, as you said, and hence they're going to try to stay united in the sense of not giving in anything until Hamas surrenders. And so we're going to probably wait until the end of October to see if anything at all will transpire on this process.
Okay, and let's say we come to the end of October. The crux of the disagreement is about disarmament of Hamas. Netanyahu says Israel can't be expected to withdraw their troops, their soldiers, while Hamas is still armed in Gaza, while Hamas says it won't disarm while Israeli troops remain in Gaza. Is there a way out of that, or are both sides asking the other to make the first move? And if so, how do we move forward from that?
Well, this is the thing about the reciprocity, right? I mean, the only way that Hamas can save face at this point in time is to give the impression that it has arrived at an agreement of reciprocity, that as it disarms, Israel withdraws or redeploys out of Gaza. And I think there was a sense of that in the 15-point plan. But as you remember, when the head of the post of peace, Miladnov, visited Netanyahu the last time, and Netanyahu told them, look, we're not going to agree to this. They're going to have to disarm first, and then we will deploy. Hamas says we cannot disarm while Israel is arming different militants in Gaza Strip. And then if who's going to disarm us and how? And pay attention to this bit here, that while Kushner meets with the Israeli prime minister and the Israeli president, he doesn't meet with the Palestinian Authority president, because at the end of the day, down the line, they're going to have someone to disarm Hamas, and there's going to be some sort of verification. If the Americans are not going to be on the ground in Gaza verifying that, who will? Because there is no international force deployed in Gaza anytime in the next few weeks or months. But avoiding any conversation with the Palestinian Authority, and avoiding even allowing the executive committee made of Palestinian members to go into Gaza up and until now, meaning many months after the agreement was reached, and yet not a Palestinian representative of the Board of Peace is allowed to go into Gaza, how are you going to get the process underway? So there's really a lot of points yet to be tackled, and Israel to allow the Palestinians to go in, to talk to the Palestinian Authority about getting those arms from Gaza, and so on and so forth. And none of that is forthcoming. So I'm sorry to be, as you would put it, skeptical. But at this point in time, looking at both Netanyahu and Trump and where they're coming from to this process, and after 2-3 years of genocide and so on and so forth, it's very hard to be optimistic, Malin.
Many thanks for speaking to us. Marwan Bishara, Al Jazeera's senior political analyst.